It begins with a single email. One Madison Brown was never supposed to see. A bank alert meant for someone else. Somehow sent to her. When she opens it, her entire world tilts. There, in black and white, is her own name attached to a bank account she never created. An account that has been quietly draining the family's savings for years. And when she brings the truth forward, Kody and Robyn don't just panic, they unravel. If you were Madison, what's the first question you'd ask? Madison always said the Brown family didn't crumble in a single moment. It fell apart one quiet detail at a time. And sometimes, the smallest detail is the loudest alarm. It's early morning in Flagstaff when Madison sits at her kitchen counter, still half asleep, scrolling through her unread emails. She's looking for nothing, expecting nothing, when one subject line stops her cold. Unusual activity alert, account, and Brown. Her finger freezes above the screen. She frowns, blinking twice, because she hasn't had a bank account under her maiden name in years. She taps the email open, expecting a scam, a glitch, something harmless. But what she sees next sends a sharp, electric jolt through her chest. A routing number, a balance, a history of withdrawals. Her name, her full legal name, listed as the primary account holder. But this isn't her account. The number isn't familiar. The bank isn't one she's ever used. And the balance, or what's left of it, makes her throat tighten. She reads the email again, then again. She starts to breathe heavier, her fingers trembling just slightly as she scrolls to the bottom, where a note says, "If you did not authorize these withdrawals, please contact your branch immediately." Authorize? She hadn't authorized a single thing. She leans back, whispering out loud to no one. What is this? Her husband, Caleb, is in the next room, half listening, but he knows that tone. He comes over, drying his hands on a dish towel, peering over her shoulder. He squints at the email, confused. Did you forget about some old account? Something from when you were younger? Madison shakes her head slowly. No, I've never had anything at this bank. Not once. Caleb's expression shifts, worry sharpening into something more focused. Then who used your name? They exchange a long look, and the silence carries weight. Accusations neither of them wants to voice. Memories neither of them want to reopen. Madison's mind runs back through the years, through the chaos, the arguments, the shifting alliances within the family, and for the first time, she feels something different. Not anger, not confusion, but betrayal. Deep, targeted betrayal. She whispers the question that cracks the entire story open. Why would someone use my name? The thought sits heavy in her stomach. She logs into the banking website using the temporary password sent to her email. The page loads slowly, painfully slowly, as if the truth itself is hesitating. When the account dashboard finally appears, her breath catches. There are dozens of withdrawals over a span of 8 years. 8 years. Money pulled in small amounts first, then larger ones. 600, 200, 3,000, 7,500. Each withdrawal is marked by a vague description. Internal transfer, processing fee, supplemental payment, authorized use, authorized by who? She scrolls down further and nearly drops the phone when she sees the earliest transactions. Deposits made around the exact years the family lived in Las Vegas. Deposits that came from shared family funds. Funds every wife contributed to. Funds that were supposed to support the entire family. Madison's chest tightens again. Because this isn't an accident. This isn't a bank mistake. Someone created an account under her name, funneled family savings into it, and then drained it slowly over nearly a decade. Someone used her identity. And whoever it was, knew she wouldn't find out. She exhales shakily. This is fraud. This is actual fraud. Caleb nods slowly, jaw tight. This is family money. And that's when the next question pierces the air like broken glass. Who had access to everyone's documents back then? Madison doesn't want to answer, but the images flash uninvited in her mind. Old arguments about budgeting, old files kept in a shared box, old moments when Kody insisted he handled the logistics. Robyn always nearby, always directing, always reminding the wives of what should be fair. Madison swallows hard. This discovery doesn't feel like an accident. It feels personal. She gathers her nerves and calls the bank. The representative is polite, careful with her words. She asks Madison to confirm her identity, address, date of birth, security questions. But something strange happens. When the rep asks for the secondary password, Madison freezes. Secondary password? I've never set one, she says. The rep pauses. Well, ma'am, someone did. It has been active since the account was opened. Madison feels her skin prickle. Her voice cracks slightly as she asks, "Can you tell me who set it?" "I'm sorry, it's confidential." The rep replies gently. Madison forces a breath. "Then can you tell me when it was set?" "Of course." The rep clicks something on her end, scrolling. Then she says the line that flips Madison's world upside down. The password was set the same day the account was opened. October 14th, 2015, Las Vegas. The height of the family chaos. Before she even ends the call, Madison feels her stomach twist into a knot. She knows who handled most of the paperwork back then. She knows who insisted the family trust her with organizing things. She knows whose handwriting would later appear all over suspicious files. But she refuses, absolutely refuses, to accuse anyone without evidence. Still, the suspicion burns hot. When she hangs up, Caleb is standing close, studying her expression. "It's them, isn't it?" Madison doesn't answer. "Not yet. I need proof. I won't be like them. I need actual proof." She spends the next 4 hours printing the account statements, the transaction logs, the email notifications she never saw, and the confirmations she never signed. Every page feels like another punch. Every line feels like another betrayal. She notices something else. Every few withdrawals. The money lands in a secondary recipient account whose name is blurred for privacy. She calls the bank again, asking whether she can access that information. The rep denies her. That account belongs to someone else. Someone who benefited from the money stolen in her name. She feels her pulse in her fingertips. By mid-afternoon, she sits in her living room, surrounded by papers, bright sunlight spilling across the carpet, highlighting the chaos in stark detail. And suddenly, the anger hits her. Not like a flame, but like a wave. Slow, thick, overwhelming. She wasn't just lied to. She wasn't just ignored. She was used. Her name was used as a shield, a way to hide money without anyone questioning it. A sudden knock at the door makes her flinch. She opens it to find her mother, Christine, holding a casserole dish, smiling the way only Christine can. But the smile fades instantly when she sees Madison's face. "What happened? Talk to me." Madison hesitates, jaw trembling. But then emotion overtakes her, and she steps aside, letting Christine in. She explains everything: the email, the account, the withdrawals, the dates. Christine listens without breathing, her expression shifting from confusion to horror to fury. When Madison finishes, Christine sinks into a chair as if her legs lost strength. Oh my gosh, Madison, this isn't a mistake. This isn't random. This is..." She doesn't finish the sentence because finishing it makes it real. She finally whispers, voice cracking, "Only 2 people had your documents in 2015? Only 2? Madison doesn't ask who. She knows. Kody and Robyn. The room falls into a heavy silence. Christine holds her daughter's hand tightly, as if she's afraid Madison might crumble. For a long moment, neither speaks. The truth sits between them, thick and poisonous. When Madison finally stands, her voice is steady. Frighteningly steady. "I'm going to court. I'm going to get answers publicly. No more behind closed doors secrets." Christine nods, tears in her eyes. "I'll stand with you. Every step." Caleb places a hand on Madison's back. "Whatever comes out, we face it together." And at that moment, the weight lifts. Not completely, but enough for her to breathe again. Enough for her to feel something other than betrayal. Enough for her to feel stronger than whoever did this. Madison gathers the printed evidence into a folder. She stares at the pages, numbers, signatures, transferred amounts, and then one detail grabs her attention like a cold hand around her spine. A signature on an old document attached to the account. Her name, written in handwriting that is absolutely not hers. She leans closer, eyes narrowing, and she knows that handwriting. She has seen it for years. On notes, on labels, on paperwork. She feels the room tilt. But before she can process it fully, another email pops onto her screen. An automatic alert that someone just logged into the same secret bank account. Someone is watching. Someone knows she's seen everything. And that someone has just reactivated the account. Madison's breath stops in her chest. Whoever did this is still moving the money. And they are not done. The moment Madison realizes someone just logged back into the secret account, her entire body tenses. It feels like the walls around her shrink. She stares at the screen, frozen, as if any small movement might trigger something worse. Caleb notices the shift in her breathing and steps closer, his hand resting gently on her shoulder. "What now?" he asks, voice low, cautious. Madison points at the notification, her voice barely a whisper. "Someone logged in. Right now. Someone's watching what I'm doing." Christine covers her mouth, horrified. "Oh my gosh. Madison. This isn't just simple fraud. This is being done in real time." And that's when the fear mingles with something sharp. Anger. Real anger. The kind you don't swallow. The kind that makes you stand up taller. Madison grabs her laptop, closes it, and says, "I'm done wondering. I'm done being quiet. We're going to the courthouse in the morning." But inside, she feels something else. A sinking heaviness. A rattling in her chest. Because if someone reactivated the account, then whoever did this isn't worried. They think she can't touch them. They think she can't expose them. They think she's still the quiet girl who never pushed back. They're wrong. She refuses to let the fear silence her, not this time. That night, sleep doesn't come easy. Her mind keeps replaying old scenes from the Vegas years, the constant financial meetings, the way Kody would brush off questions, the way Robyn always seemed to know more than anyone else about who contributed what. All those nights when the adults whispered in the kitchen about budgets and debts, thinking the kids couldn't hear. And now she wonders, had this plan been brewing even then? Had her name been picked because she was the easiest to overlook? Around 2 a.m., she gives up on sleep. She walks into the kitchen quietly, hoping the silence might calm her. Instead, she finds Christine sitting at the table, wrapped in a soft blanket, clutching a mug of tea. Christine looks up, her eyes red, exhausted. "Couldn't sleep either?" Madison shakes her head and sits across from her mother. For a while, neither speaks. The only sound is the faint hum of the refrigerator. And then, Christine asks the question she's been holding back for hours. "When you saw the handwriting, did you recognize it?" Madison's breath catches. She doesn't want to say it. She doesn't want to accuse without certainty. But the truth presses against her ribs. "I did," she says softly, "but I can't say it out loud. Not yet." Christine nods, wiping at her eyes. "I understand. But honey, I've lived with that handwriting for years. If you saw what I think you saw, this is going to explode." Madison looks down at her hands, clenched tightly together. Her voice barely escapes. "I'm scared, Mom. Not of the truth, but of what it's going to do to the family." Christine reaches across the table, squeezing Madison's hand. "The family broke itself long before this. You're not causing the damage. You're uncovering it." For the first time in hours, Madison feels a flicker of strength return. The next morning, the courthouse smells like old carpet and cold air conditioning. The kind of smell that makes everything feel both real and surreal at the same time. Madison walks through the doors with her folder clutched to her chest. Christine walks beside her. Caleb follows right behind, a steady force. But even before she reaches the clerk's desk, she senses tension. Eyes watching her from across the lobby. She turns slightly and sees them. Kody and Robyn. They look like they've been arguing for hours. Kody's jaw is tight, his face red, his eyes wild. Robyn is pacing, wiping tears aggressively, trying to keep it together, but clearly failing. As soon as they see Madison, both freeze. Robyn takes a hesitant step forward, voice trembling. Maddie, honey, what is this? Why are we here? We can talk privately. No, Madison interrupts, her voice low but steady. We're done doing things privately. Robyn flinches like she was slapped. Kody steps forward, his tone already defensive. If this is about money, we can settle it as a family. There's no reason to drag the government into a... This isn't about money, Madison says, staring him down. This is about identity fraud. Kody's mouth drops open. Robyn gasps so loudly it echoes. People in the lobby turn to look. Madison pulls out the printed signature sheet. She holds it up just enough for them to see. The moment Robyn's eyes land on it, she pales. You think I did that? Robyn stammers, voice shaking. Madison, no. No. I would never... You were the only one who organized the paperwork back then, Madison replies. You were the only one who kept everyone's documents. Robyn's lip quivers. Tears swell. You're attacking me for helping, for trying to keep this family together. How dare you accuse me of something so... Kody jumps in, raising his voice. This is insane. We're not criminals. How can you even... Madison steps closer, dropping her voice so only they hear. Someone forged my name. Someone moved money under my identity. And the bank confirmed this has been happening for 8 years. Kody's face twists in panic. Real panic. Robyn's breathing turns rapid, shallow. Christine takes a step forward, her voice razor sharp. She's pressing charges. You don't get to guilt her out of this. Kody spins toward Christine. Oh, of course you're behind this. You've been poisoning the kids against me since day one? Christine cuts him off coldly. If they see the truth, that's because you created it. The tension rises so thick, the air feels tight. Everyone in the lobby can feel that something catastrophic is about to come out. And then the clerk calls Madison's name. They move down the hall toward the financial crimes department, but Kody and Robyn follow close behind, like shadows refusing to be shaken off. Their expressions shift wildly. Denial, fear, desperation. Robyn's voice keeps cracking as she whispers, Please, Maddie, don't do this. Please, we can fix this together. But Madison doesn't look back. Inside the small interview room, Madison sits across from a financial investigator. A calm, middle-aged woman with sharp eyes and a quiet authority. Madison lays the folder on the table. The investigator opens it, flipping through each page, slowly, carefully. Her eyebrows lift as she reads the forged signature. She pauses on the transaction list. She squints at the dates. She finally looks up. This is serious. Whoever did this committed felony-level identity fraud. And given the amounts, potentially embezzlement, you said you have reason to believe the person is a family member? Madison inhales deeply. Yes. Caleb and Christine sit on either side of her. Kody and Robyn remain just outside the glass wall, pacing like caged animals. The investigator nods. We will need to question them. But I want you to understand, once this is submitted formally, it cannot be taken back. The investigation proceeds with or without your cooperation. Madison's throat tightens. She looks at her hands, at the papers, at her mother. At the frosted glass where shadowy silhouettes of Kody and Robyn move anxiously. And she says, I want to proceed. Outside, through the glass, Robyn bursts into fresh sobs. Kody's face darkens like a storm-gathering force. The investigator continues. We'll get subpoenas for both parties. But I have one immediate question. Madison braces herself. The investigator turns a page and points to the early withdrawals. This secondary recipient account? Did you notice its label? Madison frowns. Its label? The investigator slides the paper toward her. There, next to the blurred account number, in notation typed by the bank, is a nickname, a single word. A word Madison hasn't heard since the Vegas years. Her stomach drops. The word is sunshine. Her childhood nickname? A name only a handful of people ever used. A name Kody gave her when she was little. Her hands begin to tremble. Christine gasps softly beside her. Caleb leans closer, voice tight. Madison? What does that mean? But Madison already knows. Someone reactivated the account. Someone labeled the recipient Sunshine. Someone used her nickname as a cover, as a disguise, because they assumed she'd never look there. The investigator watches her carefully. Do you recognize that label? Madison's voice cracks. Yes. And then she says the sentence that sends a chill through the room. That nickname comes from only 2 people in my entire life. Christine closes her eyes. Caleb stiffens. Madison stares through the glass at the shadowy figures waiting outside. It was either my father, she swallows hard, or someone using his influence. Robyn's distorted silhouette appears behind the glass, wiping tears frantically. Madison's breath shakes as she finishes. And I think I finally know who forged my name. And the truth she whispers next is about to tear the family apart. The air in the courtroom shifts the moment session 3 begins. Almost as if everyone knows this is where the truth stops being polite and starts cutting deep. Gwen sits forward in her chair, fingers interlocked so tightly her knuckles have gone pale. Robyn refuses to look anywhere but the table in front of her. Kody glances rapidly between them like he can somehow control the collision that's about to happen. But it's too late. The momentum is already built. The judge clears his throat, the kind of sound that demands attention without raising a voice. We will now review the second portion of the audio submitted by Ms. Gwendolyn Brown. A quiet gasp rolls across the back benches, because everyone remembers what the first portion did. It demolished Mykelti's rehearsed calm. It shattered the story they tried to present. But this is the clip everyone was waiting for. The one no one thought would see daylight. The clerk clicks play. At first, there's static, soft, shaky, almost hesitant. Then a chair scrapes, someone sighs, and the unmistakable voice of Robyn fills the courtroom. The tone is low, irritated, and nothing like her usually soft, measured public persona. She doesn't need to know every detail, Robyn snaps in the audio. Gwen always digs. She asks too many questions. She's dangerous when she gets curious. The courtroom freezes. Everyone turns to stare at Robyn. Gwen doesn't blink. She doesn't flinch. But her lips press tightly together, the same way they did years ago when she felt isolated in that chaotic house. Then Mykelti's voice enters the recording, shaky, uncertain. But if the inheritance changes come out later, they'll blame us, especially Mom. Robyn responds sharply. Then we deny it. You understand? Deny everything. Your dad will back us. He always does. The judge raises his eyebrows so slowly, it's impossible to ignore. He glances at Kody, who now looks physically smaller in his seat. But the recording isn't done. Robyn lowers her voice on the audio, almost whispering, resentful. I'm not letting Gwen ruin what we've built, not again. She already turned half the family against us. I won't let her take the financial security meant for my kids. A murmur ripples through the room. This is no longer a simple sibling conflict. This is intent. Clear, strategic intent. And the courtroom knows it. Gwen breaths out slowly. The judge motions to pause the audio. Lawyers scramble for their notes. Cameras zoom in on Kody, who hasn't moved in nearly a minute. He's trying to figure out how to spin something that sounds utterly impossible to defend. Ms. Brown, the judge asks, addressing Gwen, when did you first hear this recording? Gwen folds her hands in her lap. 2 nights before I filed the motion to challenge the inheritance changes. And who provided it to you? There's a long pause. A tense, cutting, razor-sharp pause. Gwen finally looks directly at Kody, not Robyn. Someone who thought the truth mattered more than loyalty. The room vibrates with tension. Someone in the back even gasps. Because that line isn't vague. It's deliberate. And everyone knows Gwen doesn't speak in riddles. Robyn's eyes widen slightly. Panic or maybe guilt. Kody's brows knit together in confusion, suspicion, fear. Mykelti fidgets, her breath shakier than before. The judge asks, "Is the identity of this person relevant to your case, Ms. Brown?" Gwen's answer is surgically calm. "Yes, but they will speak for themselves when the time comes." That sets off a chain reaction. Robyn shakes her head frantically. "This is ridiculous. This isn't even..." But her lawyer places a firm hand on her arm to stop her. Robyn's voice is breaking. She knows what she said in that recording. She knows the tone. And she knows the courtroom heard it too. Meanwhile, Kody tries to collect himself. He straightens his tie, clears his throat, and attempts a smile that falls flat. Every camera catches how forced it is. The judge allows the second part of the recording to continue. Robyn's voice returns. "Whether they like it or not, this family is different now. And I'm protecting my kids first. If they don't like that, they should have thought about it before turning on us." And then, another voice enters. Not Mykelti, not Robyn, but Kody. Calm, resigned, worn down. "Just make sure it doesn't get traced back to us." The courtroom explodes into noise. The judge bangs the gavel, hard. "Kody Brown," the judge says, leaning forward, "you are aware of these conversations?" Kody's face goes blank. Not defensive. Not argumentative. Just empty. I don't recall that specific conversation," he stammers, hands shaking. I don't think, I wouldn't." "It is your voice on the audio," the judge states. The silence afterward is crushing. Gwen watches her father. She doesn't smirk. She doesn't nod. She just sits there, breathing steady, as if this moment was something she prepared for, but never wanted to see. Robyn whispers something urgently to her attorney. Her voice trembles. Her hands tremble. Her entire frame trembles. Mykelti looks like she might faint. The judge finally speaks again. "We will continue this in a moment. Court will recess for 10 minutes. People leap from their seats, rushing to whisper theories. The energy is electric, dangerous, alive, because in 10 minutes, everything changes. But as Gwen stands, someone stops her. A woman. Someone from the family bench. She leans in close enough that only Gwen can hear. "I think it's time," she whispers. Gwen freezes, and then slowly turns. It's not Christine. It's not Janelle. It's someone no one expected to take Gwen's side. And she says again, quieter, "I'm ready to testify." The courtroom buzzes with whispers, the kind that scrape against the walls and rattle the ceiling lights. Everyone has taken their seats, but the energy is electric, almost violent in its intensity. Kody sits stiffly, hands clenched into fists, his jaw tight as if trying to physically restrain the storm building inside him. Robyn fidgets beside him, eyes darting nervously at the door, at the audience, at the judge, anywhere but where she should be looking. The truth. Gwen stands at the edge of the witness box. Her palms are damp, but her posture is immaculate. There is a calmness in her that no one expects. Not from her. Not from anyone in this courtroom. Because when she opens her mouth, the walls themselves feel like they are about to shatter. "Your Honor," Gwen begins, voice steady, but with the underlying tremor of suppressed fury. "I am ready to reveal the person behind the secret bank account." Every head turns, every eye locked on the family pews. Robyn's lips part, as if trying to force out a protest, but no sound comes. Kody's shoulders slump fractionally, a tiny betrayal of the storm behind his composed facade. The judge leans forward, eyebrows raised. "Proceed, Ms. Brown." Gwen takes a deep breath, letting the silence stretch. It's a silence so heavy, it presses against every chest in the room. She knows the impact of the words she is about to say. They are not just accusations, they are seismic detonations, threatening to collapse every carefully built layer of deception. The person who created the bank account under Madison's name, the one who siphoned family funds for years, is Robyn Brown. The courtroom erupts. Whispers become gasps. Gasps become murmurs. Murmurs become stunned silence again. The sound of Robyn's intake of breath is audible over every other noise. She looks around as if searching for an escape route that doesn't exist. Kody's face flushes a deep red. He opens his mouth, But nothing comes out. For once, words fail him. He has never been this exposed, this unarmed. Not in public, not in front of his family. The room feels like it is collapsing inward. Robyn's attorney jumps up immediately. Your Honor, we object. This is slander. Gwen is making unsubstantiated claims. Gwen cuts him off with a glance sharper than any gavel. I have the evidence. She walks slowly to the front of the room, hands gripping a thick folder. She places it gently on the table. Pages fan out, revealing bank statements, signature comparisons, and even old emails showing Robyn's authorization to move money. Every page tells the same story. Every transaction lines up with the withdrawals Madison had discovered. Every date and every dollar points to one undeniable fact. The judge leans back in his chair, eyes narrowing. Ms. Brown, are these documents verified? Yes, Your Honor, Gwen says firmly. Verified through the bank and corroborated by the account statements submitted by Madison Brown. Robyn's voice cracks, tiny at first. I wasn't. You did, Gwen interrupts, her voice rising. You forged Madison's signature. You moved family funds into an account under her name without her knowledge. You benefited personally while hiding behind the guise of helping the family. Robyn flinches. Kody squeezes his eyes shut, his face rigid with a mixture of rage, shame, and fear. The air in the courtroom seems to vibrate. Every person sitting in those wooden benches knows the unthinkable is unfolding right before their eyes. The judge taps his gavel lightly. Robyn Brown, how do you plead regarding the charges implied by these documents? Robyn swallows hard. Her hands tremble, betraying the calm she had tried to maintain. It wasn't supposed to happen like this. The judge frowns. It is not my role to consider intentions. The facts speak for themselves. You are aware that these actions could constitute fraud and embezzlement. Robyn collapses into the nearest chair, the first real moment of vulnerability she has shown in months. Her lawyer attempts to shield her, whispering reassurances, but her eyes are vacant, lost. Across the room, Madison and Caleb exchange a glance. Relief fights with disbelief. The validation is there, but the confrontation is harsher than they expected. Christine grips her daughter's hand, tears brimming, but contained. And then the court calls the next witness. It's someone no one anticipated, Peyton Brown, Kody's son. He walks forward slowly, hesitating just slightly, the weight of family history pressing down on him. The courtroom quiets, all eyes now fixed on him. His presence alone raises tension to unbearable levels. Peyton, the judge says, you are here to testify regarding the financial transactions and any knowledge of the secret bank account. Please proceed. Peyton swallows. I first noticed discrepancies when I was helping with household finances a few years ago. I didn't know who was behind it at first, but I kept noticing withdrawals, transfers, deposits, things that didn't make sense. Robyn's face goes pale. Kody's jaw tightens so hard it seems like it might snap. I didn't say anything at the time, Peyton continues. I didn't want to cause conflict. But over the years, I kept seeing patterns. Only one person had access and motivation, and I knew it was Robyn. The courtroom is silent. The words hang like an electric current, freezing everyone in place. Robyn finally speaks, barely audible. Peyton? No. You don't understand. Gwen cuts her off, voice sharp and controlled. He understands perfectly, Robyn. You knew we would find out. You knew the truth would surface eventually. And here it is. Peyton glances at Madison. I want to be clear. This isn't about revenge. It's about making sure the family knows what really happened. Madison didn't do anything wrong. She was used. I saw it. The tension spikes. Kody leans forward, voice rising in desperation. Peyton, you're my son. You can't just... I'm telling the truth, Peyton says firmly. It doesn't matter who you are, Dad. The truth is the truth. The judge leans forward, his face stern. Ms. Brown, Mr. Brown, this testimony will be entered into the record. And let me be clear, Any attempts to intimidate or silence this witness will be treated as contempt. Robyn slumps further, sobs shaking her shoulders. Kody buries his face in his hands. The camera pans across the courtroom. The faces of the family, the lawyers, and the audience are mirrors of shock, betrayal, and disbelief. Gwen looks at Robyn, voice calm but cutting. The money moved? The signature forged? The withdrawals hidden? It all ends here. And it all starts with Madison knowing the truth. Robyn finally breaks. She sobs openly, curling into herself, almost unrecognizable from the composed, confident woman she had been just hours earlier. Madison watches silently. Relief and sadness war inside her. She wanted justice, not devastation. And yet, watching the truth unfold this way feels heavier than she imagined. The judge bangs his gavel, restoring order. Court will recess for 1 hour before continuing with the financial audit testimony. Everyone remains in the courtroom. The whispers rise again, but this time they carry a new tone. Disbelief mixed with anticipation. No one knows what comes next, but everyone knows it will be explosive. Madison glances at Christine, who nods silently. Caleb's hand tightens around hers. And through the murmur, one thought repeats in Madison's mind. The person who orchestrated all of this underestimated her. She's not backing down. And then, from across the room, a sudden movement catches her eye. Someone is taking out a folder she doesn't recognize. Someone who has been quiet until now. Someone who might reveal an even deeper secret. The courtroom settles into a heavy, tense silence as the break ends. Every pair of eyes is fixed on the figure now standing at the front. A quiet, almost ghost-like presence carrying a thin manila folder. It's someone the family has seen before, but never expected to speak in this arena. A collective breath seems to escape the room. Even the judge pauses, eyebrows raised. Gwen leans slightly forward, her eyes locked on the stranger. Madison grips Caleb's hand, her knuckles white. Christine shifts in her seat, instinctively bracing for impact. Kody's jaw tightens. Robyn clutches her purse, trembling, her wide eyes darting nervously. The stranger clears their throat. Your Honor, I have documents that directly tie the secret bank account to more than just Robyn's interference. There is a pattern here that no one has seen. The judge gestures for them to continue. Proceed. The court is listening. The person opens the folder, flipping through carefully organized papers. Each sheet is marked with dates, amounts, and annotations. Madison's eyes widen. She recognizes the handwriting on the margin notes. Careful, precise, calculating. This, the witness says, sliding a page forward, shows that withdrawals were systematically moved to cover not only personal expenses, but also real estate investments linked to Kody and Robyn. It appears they were preparing to secure assets in advance of a family dispute. The courtroom goes silent. Kody's face flushes, veins at his temples visible. Robyn's lips part in horror, whispering something under her breath. The words are inaudible, but her panic is palpable. Madison feels a surge of vindication, but it's bittersweet. This evidence confirms everything she feared. Betrayal so deep it reaches to the core of the family she once trusted blindly. The witness continues. I also have correspondence between the two, indicating that some family members were intentionally kept in the dark. Instructions were given to avoid detection, using coded references to the bank account disguised as routine transfers. Caleb leans closer to Madison, his voice is low, trembling with urgency. This is bigger than we thought. It's systematic. They planned it. Madison's eyes narrow. She feels the anger rising, the tension in her chest turning to fire. She remembers all the times she asked questions and no one would answer. Now she understands why. Robyn finally speaks, voice cracking. I didn't know it would. It was just supposed to. You forged my name. Madison interrupts, standing for the first time since entering the courtroom. You took my identity, manipulated our money, and hid it from the family for years. Robyn stumbles back, almost tripping over the edge of the witness box. Her hands tremble, and tears stream freely. Kody jumps forward, his voice sharp, trying to take control. Madison, this is an exaggeration. There's context here. Madison locks eyes with him. No, Dad. This isn't an exaggeration. 8 years of falsified statements, withdrawals, and hidden transfers aren't a mistake. This is deliberate.